Pending home sales fell over 10% in February as record low supply stifles the housing market. Article by CNBC. Okay. Housing market suffering its lowest supply in history as pending home sales, a measure of signed contracts on existing homes fell a wider than expected 10.6% in February compared to January. There were just 1,030,000 homes for sale at the end of February, a 29.5% drop compared with February 2020. That is the largest annual decline ever and the lowest supply on record. Home priced above $250,000 have seen the most active sales, but home priced above $500,000 to less than $1 million are starting to see the same low inventory problems. The recent rise in mortgage rates does not appear to be affecting home buyer demand that much. The average rate on a 30-year fixed loan started the year below 3% and is now 3.45%. It is still low historically speaking. Home prices, however, have been climbing quickly. They are up more than 11% from a year ago. Byron, thoughts?
Well, if you read that, the first time I read it yesterday, it sounded like, well, home sales are down and the real estate market's down. It's actually
inventory,
just
purely
inventory's down,
yeah.
which is driving prices up. And so what happens is when there's tons and tons of buyers, the existing inventory, a normal, natural amount of people come to the market in any given month, and they decide it's time to sell their home, and they sell their home. We talked a little bit yesterday about new home starts are huge, lots of new homes being built. The price of lumber got over $1,000 per 1,000 board feet.
What was the number? Average $200. It's over $1,000.
It goes
Can
between
you put that up for people to see it?
The chart is for the last 10 years or so. In recent history, it fluctuates between 200 and 400. It's just a commodity.
So in other words, bad time to build a house.
Well, it's just an expensive time to build a house.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not be a bad time to build a house. I mean, the materials are only the part of the price
going,
of building a home. Of course, the contractors as well are charging more because, again, demand is high. So look, I mean,
that's insane, by the way. If you look at the price of lumber,
that is amazing. Yeah.
So 2012, say it's $200. Then it goes up 2013 to around $400. Then it goes back down in 2016 to $200. Then it goes up to $600 in 2018, say June.
Briefly, but back down to $300.
Back down to $300, and then now it's $1,000 the last 6 months. That's insane.
Yeah, it is. It's
okay.
crazy.
So bad time to build.
Just an expensive time for materials
Continue.
and labor. That's it. I mean, it just is. It's not that much. You know, everybody knows it. If you try to buy a house, it's more than you thought it was going to be, and if you sell your house, it's worth more than you thought it was.
Say that last point again, please. You said it when you try to build a house.
Build or buy a house, it's going to more than you
expensive.
thought it might be. And the home that you're about to sell is actually you're going to get more than you thought you would.
It's a seller's market.
These days. It's a complete
It's
seller's
a
market.
seller's
Very
market.
simple.
If you can sell, let me put it to you this way. A guy says, I put my house on the market. That article that was going viral yesterday. Guy puts a house on the market. Within one day, gets 65 cash offers.
Yeah, I posted that on Instagram.
Yeah, you put that up. He gets 65 cash offers.
Yeah.
My COO puts a house on the market. Within 24 hours, he's got a bunch of cash offers. People aren't, and they ended up overpaying what the value was.
Sometimes
that
a bidding war can ensue.
The bidding war is going above what the market is, and people are selling today with the following contingent on the contract. Whether the appraisal comes back or not, it's irrelevant. You got to get the house. So say you buy the house for $1 million. You make the offer $1 million. Seller accepts it. Okay. Appraisal comes back at $900,000. You still have to buy it at $1 million. That's what's happening today.
Appraisals are typically triggered by a mortgage.
Yeah.
You know,
Sellers can play offense today like never before. Buyers, you're in a sticky situation right now. Adam, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I've been very outspoken that I'm not a real estate guy. I don't. It all depends on your situation when you're at in life. For instance, I rent and I pump all my money that I make into the stock market. People will say, well, you got to have exposure to real estate. And that's why I invest in REITs and I've invested into crypto and I've definitely made some money on Bitcoin and all that fun stuff. I just think that owning a house is one of the more overrated purchases you could ever make. And there's people going to be out there like, what are you talking about? You're an idiot.
Can I say something? I've been trying to tell you I'm going to blow my nose. Can you take the camera off my face? It's like I don't know what other signals to give you. Go ahead.
All right. So, sorry, everybody. So my advice out there, because I always try to break things down, in personal finance for the common person out there. Unless you got a family, unless you got kids, unless you're going to be in the same area for at least 5-10 years minimum, just rent, bro. What I think is the especially right now with the seller's market, what I think the Realtor Association, whoever did this, the best marketing PR agenda they've ever done was when they came out and they said, renting is just throwing money away. Why would you throw money away on rent? And I think it's a brilliant marketing move, but the reality is owning a home, I think it appreciates at 3% annually. Stock market over time is between 8 and 10%, depending on inflation. So if you're single out there, what's your point? If you're single out there and you're just in your wealth building phase, you're just getting a career and you're just kind of getting things going, it's perfectly okay to rent. Perfectly okay to rent, have a roommate, split, whatever it is.
Do you have a differing opinion to that?
But if you have a family, I can understand if you want to have a good school zone and, people forget taxes, mortgage, maintenance. Like you said, it's more expensive than you thought to build a house.
If you're not going to be in there for a while, certainly you don't want to buy if you're going to be gone in 2 years. I mean, the frictional cost of getting in and getting out and the hassle of having to get out versus just walking away from
people don't know this, and they just I want to buy a place. I want to buy a place. Well, have you thought it? No, I think it's time for me to buy. But you have how many houses that you own right now?
Houses?
Properties that you personally own?
Including my office, 5.
Okay. And do you love being a landlord? Do you love owning property, really, or is it more annoying than you thought it would be? Give us a little insight to this.
Yes, there are always things that you hadn't anticipated. Certainly being a landlord, I have a property that we rent, but I actually pay someone to do that. The other ones I don't. I mean, I am the only tenant in the office building. Yeah. So I own the office building, and I own my home. I own my home in Breckenridge, and I have a condo in Snowmass that we don't rent, but I have one that I do. And so that's the only one I deal with tenants, and it's definitely not a guaranteed win. A lot of people think it is. And then there are people that have made a lot of money in real estate, so people think, well, this guy made a lot of money in real estate, so I want to be in real estate. And if I just buy real estate, I'm going to make money automatically, and it's not the case.
Let me just say one thing to that. The people that I know who have made money in real estate, this is what they do. Straight up, this is what they do.
What's that?
They do real estate. They do development. They have general contractors. They've got people that just.
When you do development, it's essentially it's your product. So you buy something, you sell it for more. So you build you buy a piece of land for $100,000. You put up a strip center for $500,000, and then you get it leased up, and then you sell it for $1 million too. I mean, they're buying something, they're adding value, and then they're selling it for more, or they're letting it run out.
I want to ask you a question, because you wrote an article years ago. Was it the Denver Post? Am I remembering that correctly?
Post. Good memory.
And you were, I read the Denver Post religiously. Are you kidding me?
It's the 15th biggest print in America.
When I go visit Byron in Breckenridge or in Aspen, I make sure to pick up a copy of the Denver Post. And this particular article that I picked up was written by none other than Patrick Bet-David, talking about when you were in your infancy stages of PHP, you could have bought a house and lived at a multi-million-dollar house and done that, or taken all your cash and started your business, which is obviously 100x'd over the last decade, whatever the number is. But give us a little insight into that article, what you wrote and what your mindset was when you were building your company.
For the average person buying a home makes sense. For the average person buying a home, it makes sense.
Highlight average
person's meaning I'm going to stay in the same city for the next 20 years. I'm going to probably go to a job and do that for the next 20 years. I'm going to make the stable, not moving to another state. You have to realize I have moved 11 times in the last 10 years. I have moved 3 states in the last 5 years, 6 years. Just 6 years ago, I was living in California.
Yeah.
Then I lived in Texas for 5 years. Now I'm living in Florida. People calling me telling me, how's Texas? I'm like, I don't know. I'm in Florida. I couldn't tell you how Texas is
and you
right
got
now.
out just in time.
Yeah, and I got out just in time. But the point I'm trying to make to you is I'm probably not the guy I'm not a fan of buying homes for me. It's a terrible idea for me to buy homes that I'm living in. Now, at this point, it's a different story. Why? Kids, private schools. Kids got to go to the same private. It's unfair for you to keep changing where you live when you got a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, and they keep having to make new friends and new friends. You can't create momentum. So you have to make a decision for them as well, where it's not like, hey, you're going to move again? Yeah, to you it may not be a big deal, but to a kid, it's too many moving parts. Like, let these kids settle down and build some relationships, or else every school they go to, they're kind of like, well, listen, bro, I'm having a good time with you, but we're probably not going to be friends long term. Because the last kid I became best friends with, 16 months later, we left. So I can't get too close to you. Yeah. So it becomes that one thing where you have to be careful. When you have
kids, there's definitely other factors.
Changes,
School districts, all that fun of stuff.
For you, why would you buy? Why would Adam buy? No. You're a butterfly. Why would you buy? There's no reason for you to buy.
Beautiful butterfly, Byron.
You're a butterfly. Yeah. Have you ever been called a butterfly before? First time I called you a butterfly.
Getting all sorts of compliments. Believe me, I'll get crushed by the end of this episode. But get back to that article where your mindset was at when you were in your early 30s.
I told my wife, we were having a meeting. I'm in front of 66 guys when we started PHP. By the way, shout out to PHP. Last month was a record-breaking month with
congratulations
11,449 new business partners, and we had 750 by the time everything's done, new licensed agents, which is the third biggest in America today. Most highest newly licensed people with a company will be us in the month of March. There's only 2 that license more than us in the month of March, which is pretty exciting to see what's going on. Policies will end up being around 12 to 13,000 policies. But I gave a meeting in Northridge, 8550 North Balboa Boulevard. That was the office, okay, in Northridge. Down the street from Home Depot. My dad loves going. First thing my dad does when he comes here, he says, hey, Pat. I said, what, Dad? Take me to Home Depot. I said, I'm not taking you to Home Depot. He says, why not? I said, if I take you to Home Depot once, I have to take you every time. I said, I'm going to show you where Home Depot is.
Yeah.
He says, okay. So he went. I said, where you want me to go? If you want me to go to Home Depot with you to carry some heavy stuff, I'll go with you. I said, what are you buying? He says, 1 pipe. I said, I'm not going to Home Depot for a pipe. Here's the keys.
Your dad is basically Will Ferrell in old school. It's like, I got
I'm going to Bed Bath & Beyond.
A nice little Sunday planned. I might go to Home Depot. I don't know.
It's Gabriel the Tank.
Yes.
Frank the Tank, Gabriel the Tank. Yeah. So anyway,
So you're in Northridge.
I'm in Northridge. I'm running the office. I start the company, and I tell everybody with my wife standing in the back, I said, babe, in the next 5 years, I'm not buying a house. Every penny I make, I'm putting it back into the business. We're going to rent. I said this publicly to everybody. We lived at a 2-bedroom apartment complex at the Summit, and then we went into a 3-bedroom house at Encino Boulevard. And then we went to Chatsworth. We had a few homes there, and then we made it out to Dallas. We moved like 5-6 times in California before we moved out. But I put that money into business. Now, that may not be the story for everybody. The thing with buying homes, not one story doesn't fit everyone's narrative.
Right.
It may work for you, it may not work for you, it may work for me, it may not work for Kai, but it depends on where you're at. For me, it ended up working out. But going back to the story here, what's going on with real estate, realtors can be bullies today. Here's what realtors are using, script. You know what realtor script is today? Look, you don't have to make an offer. There's probably going to be 5 in the next 24 hours. You don't have to make an offer. So the realtor of being the sweet realtor, I think this is a good investment for you. I think you ought to make the move. Realtors today are saying, don't make the offer. It's okay. We're going to get 5 offers in the next 24 hours.
You're saying they could play some hardball.
So all realtors are doing right now, they have one script. You know what the script is? Do you love this home? Because if you love it, make the offer, they can own it. If you love it, make the offer. Don't play the game today. Realtors have a lot of leverage today if they have any homes to represent.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.